Greetings to each of you and welcome to DecemberMe. I am Dr. Shalita Mira, the owner and founder of the Heart-Centered Journey Counseling, Coaching, and Consultation. And I am delighted to embark upon this month-long journey with you as we focus on 5 R's: rest, reflect, reset, refocus, recommit, and emerge renewed. We are in the season of transitioning from fall to winter. And it is during the season of winter that we have shed all of the old. And we're often grieving in this space of letting go of who we used to be and what we used to do so that we can reemerge in a space where we have experienced renewal. So this month-long journey is going to focus on those 5 R's because it is my goal that as we enter the new year, that you will find that every goal you set, every intention of your heart will be done from a place of rest. It will be done from a place of deep reflection. This will give you a space to really reset all of the issues and problems, the moments of gratitude. Take all of that and reset, but then shift your focus. Refocus on your purpose. Repurpose on what you want to spend your days doing in 2024. Refocus on what you want to be important. Because remember, you're sacrificing moments and days of your life for whatever it is that you are focusing on and planning to do. And then we're going to recommit to some things. Maybe there were some things that we set intentions around coming into this year that we didn't quite meet, or maybe we're halfway there. We're going to look at what we need to recommit to, because again, the goal is to emerge intentionally. So this first week, we're going to be looking at rest, because you cannot create any plan. You cannot function in a space of intention from an exhausted, distracted, confused mind. Double-mindedness equals instability. And so we have to begin this month by looking at rest. So this week, we're focusing on the art of rest. I hope you join me, and I am so glad to be here with you. Young Pueblo, one of my favorite authors, states this: healing yourself will ask more of you, more rest, more self-love, more letting go, more time for learning, more space for transformation, more honesty about how you feel, more time developing good habits, more courage to try new practices, more time cultivating your inner peace, more faith in yourself in the process. So this week, there are going to be 5 rest concepts that are going to govern our focus. Before we can commit to anything, we need to commit to committing from a rested state. That means we need to understand exhaustion, and we need to understand what exhausts us. So we're going to complete an exhaustion assessment around the important domains in our lives. Then we are going to look at that data, and then we are going to recommit to a new circadian rhythm. How do we want rhythm and balance to show up in our lives so that we function from a rested versus an exhausted state? Then we're going to talk about journaling. Morning pages, gratitude journaling that we can do in the morning, or a brain dump that we can do in the evening before we go to sleep so that our mind is not racing at night, and that impacts how we sleep. And then we're going to talk about scheduling with intention. So we're going to look at white space on our calendar. How can we prevent overcrowding our calendar, matching energy levels with capacity specific to our calendars? And then we're going to talk about periods of inactivity. When do we need to put in these times of inactivity where we can give our physical body some rest and also our mind and our emotions rest as well? So let's begin with the exhaustion assessment. Before we can make a plan, we have to do an assessment. So this week, we are going to spend the first day or so conducting an exhaustion assessment. Assessing exhaustion, whether physical or emotional, can be important for understanding your well-being. And so I've developed these questions to initiate conversations and self-reflection about different aspects of exhaustion and how it may be impacting you. It's important to know that persistent exhaustion may require professional assessment and intervention. And based on the answers to this question, you may want to reach out to your primary care to discuss, or maybe even a mental health professional. Here are some questions that can help assess exhaustion. First, we're going to look at physical exhaustion. How would you rate your overall energy levels on a scale from 1 to 10? With 1 being extremely low and 10 being extremely high. I also want you to use the same scale and ask yourself these additional 2 questions. Are you experiencing difficulty getting out of bed or feeling fatigued throughout the day? Score yourself between a 1 and a 10. And have you noticed changes in your sleep patterns, such as difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep? Note your score at the bottom of your page. Question number 2 is around or assessing emotional exhaustion. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your emotional well-being? Do you find yourself easily irritable or frustrated lately? Have you been feeling overwhelmed or emotionally drained? Make sure to note your score at the bottom. Question number 3 explores our exhaustion around work-related responsibilities. So remember, you're scoring yourself from a 1 to a 10, with 1 being minimal to low exhaustion, with 10 being significant or high exhaustion. So the first question is, how do you feel about your workload and responsibilities currently? Are they contributing significantly to exhaustion, or do you feel they're balanced? Question number 2, are you finding it challenging to concentrate on tasks or make decisions? Score that from a 1 to 10. Third question, have you been taking breaks and time off to recharge? For you to score yourself. If you've done a good job with that, then you would have a 1. If you are struggling with that and it's really contributing to exhaustion, you would have a 10. Make sure to note your score. Area 4 is assessing your social exhaustion. Here are your questions. How have your social interactions been impacting your energy levels? If it's minimal, you're maybe closer to a 1, 2, or 3. If it's significant, you're going to be 7, 8, 9, maybe even 10. Are you finding it difficult to engage in social activities or maintain relationships? Think about your score. Do you feel the need for more time alone to recharge? If this is you, think about that score, right? And then I want you to just note what your score is in the box below. Area 5 explores physical symptoms. Here are your questions. Have you experienced any physical symptoms of exhaustion, such as headaches, muscle tension, or digestive issues? Are you noticing changes in your appetite, either an increase or a decrease? Note your score below. Area 6 is time management and boundaries. So remember, we're looking at a score of 1 to 10. How are you at managing your time, and do you feel you have a healthy work-life balance? And are you setting clear boundaries between your work, your personal life, and your social commitments? Note your score below. Area 7, explore self-care practices. Here are your questions. Do you engage in self-care practices regularly? Do your self-care practices leave you feeling restored or rested? Have you been neglecting self-care activities such as exercise, relaxation, or hobbies? Note your score below. Our last assessment question is on life satisfaction. So on a scale from 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with your overall life right now? And are there specific areas of your life contributing to the feelings of exhaustion? I want you to answer those questions, note your score below. And then I want you to take some time to reflect on your scores across all 8 of these domains. Which of these assessment questions have a 6 or above? I want you to grab a sheet of paper, grab your phone, grab your journal, whatever you need to grab, and I want you to make a note of each of these domains. And I want you to list the domains in order of the highest score. That will reveal to us the places within your life that are the most exhausting to you. And these are the areas that we have to begin to focus on as we build self-care, coping, healthy, restorative practices and strategies so that you can begin to make decisions and live from a space of rest versus a space of exhaustion. One of the most efficient and effective ways for our bodies to achieve the state of rest is through sleep. So that is connected to circadian rhythm. So circadian rhythm is a natural internal process that regulates the sleep-wake cycle and repeats roughly every 24 hours. This biological clock is influenced by external cues such as light and darkness and helps synchronize various bodily functions with the natural day-night cycle. A well-functioning circadian rhythm is essential for overall health, including our sleep quality, our mood, and our cognitive performance. So if you're looking to reset or regulate your circadian rhythm, here are 5 strategies. Number 1, establish a consistent sleep schedule. Go to bed and wake up the same time every night, even on weekends. Consistency reinforces your circadian rhythm and helps regulate your internal clock. 2, exposure to natural light. Get exposure to natural sunlight during the day, especially in the mornings. Sunlight exposure helps regulate the production of melatonin, a hormone that influences our sleep-wake cycles. Aim for at least 30 minutes of natural light exposure each day. Number 3, limit exposure to artificial light at night. So reduce exposure to bright screens from your phones, your computers, and TVs in the evening. The blue light emitted by these devices can interfere with the production of melatonin, making it harder to fall asleep. Consider using blue light filters on your devices or wearing blue light blocking glasses in the evening. Number 4, create a relaxing bedtime routine. So establishing a calm pre-sleep ritual helps to signal your body that it's time to wind down. This may include activities like reading a book, taking a warm bath, or practicing relaxation techniques like deep breathing or meditation. There are tons of different types of routine related videos out there in the social media world on YouTube. So I would encourage you to check out one of those evening or bedtime routine videos. I plan to make one in the future also to give you an example of what a relaxing bedtime routine could look like. And then number 5, be mindful of your sleep environment. Make your sleep environment conducive to rest. So keep your bedroom or wherever it is you sleep, keep it cool, keep it dark, and keep it quiet. Invest in a comfortable mattress and pillows because they help to promote quality sleep. Also consider using blackout curtains to help minimize exposure to that external light. Another way to aid our body in achieving a rested state, or as a proactive step to prevent exhaustion, centers around journaling. There are so many different types of journaling, and I would encourage you to do some research around journaling, but there are three that I will talk about in this video. The first two, gratitude journaling and morning pages, are two that are a part of my morning routine because it gives me the time and the space first thing in the morning when I wake up to focus on and reflect on what I'm most grateful for. Gratitude journaling is a cognitive behavioral strategy because oftentimes the beginning of a new day comes with many anxiety promoting thoughts and activities. We got to get the kids ready for school. We got to get ready for work. We got to get lunch together, all these different things. But when you start with gratitude journaling, it shifts the mind from the negative to the positive. It shifts us from thinking about all that we have to do and being seemingly overwhelming to a space of what we get to do, from a space of thanksgiving. And so gratitude journaling is very essential to our morning routine, but also morning pages. Morning pages can be a little bit longer than a gratitude journal because gratitude journals may be a simple prompt or maybe writing down one thing that you're grateful for, whereas morning pages really allows you a page or two to purge in the morning. So not only talk about what you're grateful for, but maybe even to reflect upon what your intention is going to be for the day. So morning pages is 1 to 2. Julia Cameron even identifies 3 or 4 pages in your morning pages where you just continually write what is on your mind. There doesn't have to be a prompt. You just put pen to paper. And then one that I encourage at the end of the day is called a brain dump. And I am a proponent of brain dumping in the evening because oftentimes the things that keep us from going to sleep are often ruminations from what happened earlier in the day. But when you can put pen to paper and get all of that out, what do you need to focus on the next day? What has caused you some anxiety? What are you excited about from the day? What are you most thankful for? You can put that down on paper because the brain wants our attention. And so when we brain dump, we create space in our day to purge, release, cathartic release around our day, putting it on paper, letting our brain know that there's a plan attached to that which is brought to the conscious mind. So I want you to consider journaling this week. Try these 3 journaling modalities. See which one or combination thereof work best for you in helping you to achieve a state of rest. The last area that we are going to focus on as far as implementing to help us to move from a space of overwhelm to a more rested space for intentional living is looking at our schedule and routine. So there are 4 strategies that I'm going to recommend specific to your own personal schedule and routine. And the first one is make sure that whenever you're scheduling, you include white space on your calendar. I know we have so much to do. Our to-do lists are so long. But in the process of creating that weekly schedule or that weekly to-do list, I want you to make sure that you include white space or blank space on that calendar. What is that? Time where you do nothing or time where you do something that is nourishing, that is a hobby, something to help restore you versus deplete you. So as you're scheduling everything else in on your calendar, I want maybe write your name and that 30-minute block. So instead of filling it up with something else to do, write your name and you are the to do, focusing on you. Maybe having a nice lunch or going for a walk. Create that white space on your calendar. The second suggestion is make sure that when you're creating your routines, you're creating routines that work. Oftentimes we can be a bit ambitious when we're creating our routines, and it's a lot. So instead of the routine helping us to prevent exhaustion or helping us to restore, the routine itself becomes exhausting. For example, if you build a morning routine and that morning routine has 20 steps, odds are it's not going to be restorative. It's going to trigger anxiety when you wake up because you now have a 20-item list of things to check off that's a part of your routine. So if I had to give an example of my morning routine, I wake up, I have my spiritual practice, I have my meditation, my visualization, my affirmations. I do a 10-minute short restorative workout in the morning. And while I'm getting prepared for work, I listen to my audiobook. Make sure whatever your routine is, it works. It's nourishing for you. It's preparing you for the day, and it's not exhausting you before the day begins. And the same during the day and at the end of the day. Whatever routine you implement, make sure it works. Number 3 is making sure that as you're creating your schedule or routine, you're assessing your energy and your capacity. There are different times of the day where our alertness and our capacity is more or less. And so we never want to pair a high energy task with a low capacity moment, or vice versa. We never want to pair a task that requires high mental capacity, high physical capacity at a time where our energy or our mood is low. So look at your day, assess how you're feeling, and match energy and capacity for optimal performance, but also exerting the least amount of energy so that you can walk away feeling rested. And then lastly, when we talk about white space is about assessing and including these periods of inactivity. We need time to detach from all that we have to do so that we can be. So I want you to think about, what do you need as far as physical inactivity so that your body can relax? What do you need for mental inactivity? Maybe that's stepping away from social media. Maybe it is taking a break away from looking at the computer and getting outside and taking a walk. What do you need for emotional inactivity? What are those emotionally charged activities or relationships that you may need to detach from for a period of time so that you can restore, feel refreshed, revived? So as you're planning your schedule and routine, I want you to take some time to implement these 4 strategies so that you can work smarter and not harder. We have come to the end of today's video, and it is my prayer that each of the strategies that we've discussed in week 1 of DecemberMe, the art of rest, helps you to transition from a space of exhaustion to a space of rest. Remember, we have committed to not making any commitments from a place of exhaustion, but we want to be intentional about the choices and the decisions that we make, and we want to be intentional about where we show up and how we show up. So I want you to remember this: you've been given a divine gift, and that gift is the gift of choice. Today, choose to prioritize your rest because you deserve it. I look forward to seeing you next week in week 2 as we are going to continue our journey of DecemberMe, focusing on our 5 R's so that we can re-emerge in the new year. Blessings.